I'm here. Sorry, I had to do like a last second toilet break. I'm here. Yes, my mic was muted because again I had a little emergency. Clearly, I was not prepared for the juice that I drank before the stream. Let me start up the game because I haven't done that yet. PARANORMASIGHT. Here we go. Lambda, will you do stream or regular video for Limbus event? Is there a reason why I should do a regular video for it? And not a stream as per usual? Lightning hand or... Okay. I sound older than usual? What the fuck? Did it suddenly age like a decade since last stream? Okay, yes. I do remember this. We left off because I had to choose a new protagonist. I am undecided. I have a favorite, somewhat. I have two favorites actually, and well, if you know me, you will know who. But the first person to write either hag, old man, or young girl, or something akin to those, will decide who we start with. Let's just do it like that, because getting the majority to decide never really works out. Young boy. Let's leave Yakko for dessert. Jesus Christ, Daniel. Heck, here we go. Good. But we're starting from the top. Haruo Shigima. Oh, these scenes have different names. Her name for this scene is Not Dreams, and she has something to do with the Michael Jackson guy. When the son of Haruo Shigima was kidnapped, a botched of course, he's a detective. A botched investigation by the police resulted in the child's murder. 1 year later, Haruo has hired a private investigator to help resolve the unsettled case. Late at night, while speaking to the detective at her home, something strange suddenly appears. Oh, looking forward to that one. Ooh. May those who mock fire's flame perish in flame or something. Or maybe fire's fury? Kill them! Kill them! The flame bearers. Kill them all! You have acquired the power of the cursed stone, the haunting clappers. You can use it to kill those with fire or a fire-starting device on the person. Press the use curse button to set your target alight. Interesting, because it has nothing to do with the counting down she did before. I wonder if that was for a different reason and if we're gonna find out about it. The haunting clappers. We've read this. We haven't read this yet. We haven't read the Resentful Memory yet, so let's do that. Pretty cool looking. Red. Everything's dyed crimson. My home is burning to the ground. It's hot. So hot. Dude found hentai for the first time. I must call for help, but I cannot speak. My throat must be burned up from the smoke. No, I think I'm already on fire. That's right. I'll just use the clappers. Clack, clack. Is anybody there? Clack, clack. Why is no one coming? I'm going to burn to death. How did it come to this? Oh, right, her. Must be the work of that vixen who appeared suddenly and enchanted my lord. That witch. Those hauntingly cold eyes had my lord dancing in the palm of her hand. Perhaps I was also taken in by her. How many innocent people did I lure in under orders? This must be karma. Sound of a heavy bell. It feels like I assume, head will split open. All right, the evening bell. That must be why nobody can hear the sound of my clappers. I've got to do it louder. Clack, clack. Well, that explains the clackers. Actually, the backstory more creepy than the mystery, but okay. Obviously, I mean, a murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar. Sounds like common? Doesn't it? Now, kill. Can you hear it, curse bearer? You, who so strongly desires the right, kill them. It's curious how they all have in common that they want to bring someone back. I wonder if the curse chose them because of this, rather than it somewhat randomly happening or something. Shigima Mansion reception room. Wow, a mansion? Are we rich? Give me actually a second. It's a little bit too loud for me when the big music cues in. The big boy music. Come on. Good, okay. And we're back. Back with me, ma'am. It's Richter, Michael Jackson. Can't say I understand what just happened, but it certainly seems to have put you in a good mood. Might be the first time I've ever seen you really smile. She's so hot, but such a hag at the same time. Sweet dreams. I mean, she looks completely out of it. Like, absolutely drugged up and shit, but you know, in the 90s and early 2000s, they called that the heroin chic, which was like the look they had on the runway for the models, which were like, I don't know, like 40 kilograms at most or something. Like really, really thin and anorexically so. We now found out more about her. Housewife. Haru is a housewife who resides in the manor near Shumoko Bridge. Her 11-year-old son, Shuichi, was kidnapped and murdered about a year ago. So that was true. Like, what she told, what's his face? Shogo? What she told Shogo was actually true. The death was the result of a mistake on the part of the detective assigned to the case, a mistake which enraged the kidnapper and had him cut off all contact with the police, leaving no room for negotiation. Are there a lot of kidnappings in Japan, actually? Is there a special reason for that? Because you keep seeing it come up in video games and manga and anime and stuff. I don't think it happens as much in Germany, kidnappings. There are some very famous kidnappings of like very rich people's children. But actually in the recent years, I can't think of one. There were a few in the 90s and 80s that were like really, really big. I don't know if that's the right word. I also don't want to call it popular, but there was some actual big cases where they were like chasing the kidnappers and stuff. Some of them still unsolved as well. Anyway, the incident was covered up and Shuichi's killer remains at large, leading the aggrieved Haruo to call on the services of private investigator Richter Kai to uncover the truth. The Shigima family came from a line of samurai who built the residence in Honjo during the Edo period. They assumed important positions in the police force following the Meiji Revolution, thereby protecting the family's elevated status. Even today, many in the Shigima line work as police bureaucrats and senior police officers. Haruo's father sits in the upper echelons of the National Police Agency, and her husband, adopted into the Shigima clan through an arranged marriage, is also a highly respected agency official. Also kind of funny how like husbands taking on the wife's name and like getting introduced to the wife's family and like what do you call this? Taken over? No. Something sub that I'm thinking of. Basically when they're like being what is the term I'm thinking of? When they join the wife's family instead of like further continuing their own line. Subsumed? That might be the word I'm thinking of. Yes. That's something that happens more in like cultures where the family name and the family traditions and like the family itself is more important than in like the Western culture, I guess. Like in Germany, you wouldn't really have that, but I guess in Japan, we're like, oh, they belong to so-and-so family and so-and-so family own this and that company or something. That is like, it's more common, right? Again, like my knowledge comes from anime and manga, so at least it feels that way. Anyway, he's also a highly respected agency official. However, as the family prioritized work above all else, it wasn't long before Haruo's marriage grew cold. I can heat her up again. Though she wants for nothing, she's isolated from her neighbors and withdrawn from society. Seeing her son grow into a young man gave Haruo a purpose in life, but it was cut short by the kidnapping incident. Following the incident, Haruo spent many days in deep depression, breaking into sudden fits of shouting and wandering around in the middle of the night. Her cheerful, loving disposition faded away, and she took to making snide remarks at her husband, which only further soured their relationship. A few months ago, Haru's husband was transferred to another area for work and now rarely returns home, with Haru left to live in a large empty mansion alone. As a housekeeper who has been with the family for a long time comes in to take care of all the housework, Haru has nothing but time on her hands. You know what? This sounds like the start of a great, great hentai. Oh, I can fix her. No. Not dreams. Sounds like something I might want to hear about. I mean, he looks serious. Maybe I gave him too much shit. The swinging of the pendulum echoes through the room. It feels livelier than usual with Richter here. Usually it's just me. A color television. Father bought one as soon as it hit the market. He likes to have the latest gadgets. Unlike the latest models, there's no remote control. We've had it for a long time. Back when it was new, we all gathered around it and marveled at it as a family. But with Father and my husband being away so often, quickly fell into disuse. A fax machine. How many of you still recognize fax machines? Like my family actually never had one. So I do know how they work and stuff. And fax numbers are still a thing in Germany somehow for some companies, but I wonder why actually. But this is like a thing of the past, definitely. Also, look at the fucking telephone with the dial ring rather than like buttons. It can send images to other places along the telephone network. I don't really know how it works. Most houses don't have one. I rarely find a use for it. Yeah, even back then. A rotary phone, that's what it's called. The telephone. This mansion is a private line. Is that... I guess it's something special back then, having your own private line. An old hanging scroll. I don't know who painted it. It's been hanging here since before I was born. An arrangement of flowers. We bring in someone to do it. I don't even know what the flowers are called. Blue ones. The huge stereo. Stereo unit with separated speakers designed for home use. My husband insisted on buying one, even though he isn't one to listen to music often. What the fuck is that? Well, oh wait. Well, I'll be damned. Is that what I think it is? Goodness, you made me jump. It's just a silly little sticker my son got from somewhere or other. Put it up just before, well, you know what happened. Still can't bring myself to take it down. Let me take a closer look. I knew it. It's Honjo from way back in set number 1. This is a rare collector's item. Excuse me? Don't tell me you never heard of the mockingbirds. The what? That hottest new craze. Cute little birds dressed up like rough and tumble delinquents. Oh, I can actually see it now. Oh my god. Never heard of them, but this certainly seems to matter to you. The best part is nobody knows who made them. They just started showing up around town, and soon enough they'd won everybody's hearts. Is it suspicious that Rita knows about something little boys would like? The story goes that they're made by some anonymous artist who covertly leaves them behind in specific locations. No one knows when or where they'll show up next. They're basically an urban legend of sorts. To think one would turn up here of all places, this is a good sign, I'm sure of it. Oh, well, that's nice. Mockingbird number 1. I wonder if I could have found one earlier. Or if that's like a thing just exclusive to her story. Oh, wow. That's a lot of it. These popular bird mascot stickers seem to pop up everywhere. Nobody knows who the legendary artist is behind these quirky birds, but they quickly became popular for their surreal yet oddly cute designs. Be in the right place at the right time in Honjo, and you might just be able to find all 20 of them scattered around. Legend has it collecting them all will bring good luck. We found number 1 head Honjo. Oh, that's interesting. I assume these give you a clue as to how to find them. Approach the net, a bottom shelf surrounded by darkness, jackpot, like some kind of machine. Late at night on the way home, yeah. I wonder if I'll have to revisit the first route, because this one says a unique looking playground. And revisiting the park. Interesting. Actually, give me Give me a short second. Okay, so I'm back. Lambda sounds like a zoomer for not using facts. I am truly a zoomer, yes. You got me there. A lot of companies use fax machines. Yeah, but I wonder why still. Like an email that immediately gets printed out because you definitely wanted that one line of text on a piece of paper with no option to tell the printer to shut the hell up, right? Yes. Yes, you can do a lot of shit with fax machines. The guest table. I don't know where father got this old thing from, but I never liked it. Well, can she think, or do you think like that's disabled for her? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, it's been barely 17 minutes. Already on thin ice, really. My heart's still racing. This is it, my chance at long last. Yes, let's talk to Michael. Let me bring you up to speed. We were in the middle of a chat when you suddenly started spacing out. So it's the same for everyone who suddenly gets the cursed powers. They seem to just fucking get shocked out of it or something. And the whole time you were grinning to yourself like you just won the lottery. Care to tell me what that was all about? Well, where to start? Is she actually gonna come clean? I wonder. Interesting. Very interesting. So the haunted clapper's curse echo appeared out of nowhere. Told you how to perform the rite of resurrection and gave you the curse you'll need to do it. I got that right. Oh my gosh, she's very, like, gullible, very, like, careless in just revealing everything to him. That's right. So it's all real. Honestly, I still find it hard to believe. But I guess I have to now. I saw that curse stone appear in your hand myself. Oh, so she pretty much had to just... Okay. It looked like it popped clean out of thin air. With evidence that clear, there's no denying that there's some supernatural force at work. You can be lucky, then they immediately burst into fire. Also, it may... Do you think she told him... Wait. Do you think she told him about the mechanism needed to activate her curse power? Because that would shine a whole different light on him talking about the lighter with Shogo, telling us that we should keep it. Yes, the lighter has saved us from one of the curse powers, but it has also doomed us to hers. So that's kind of... Private investigator I hired. Brent told me about him. They said he's not very well known, but he's good at what he does. When I first visited his office in Ota City and saw how he dressed, I could hardly believe he was a detective. But after talking to him for a while, I changed my mind. There's some strange things at times, like hee and shapow. What is that thing that... I don't know. But he seems like the reliable sort. Sorry, that was very loud, most likely. Okay, Richter Kai. We got more information about him now. The eccentric man at Shogo-Okiya ran into it, Honjo Bridge. Richter's actually a private investigator with an office in Ota City, Tokyo. After taking on a request from Haru Shigima to investigate the unsolved kidnapping and murder of his son, he gets caught up in the events surrounding the rite of resurrection. Once a police officer, Richter was racked with guilt over the police's inability to help all those in need and quit the force to start his own private investigation firm. I'm not sure if that's like better or worse. However, his soft-hearted nature leads him to take on too many cases and has put his office in dire financial straits. How he is still in business is a mystery, with some whispering that a wealthy patron is keeping him afloat. Richter studied alongside Detective Jun Ario at the police academy. It's a young dude. Interesting. Somewhat surprisingly, given his outlandish clothing and mannerisms and voice, Richter excels at covert investigations entailing his targets. He proudly refers to himself as an investigator extraordinaire, though that only ever succeeds at impressing himself. Richter's biggest source of happiness is nuzzling his pet female albino parakeet, Ernestine, which he keeps in his office. Parakeet that's a bird or something, right? He also enjoys collecting mockingbird stickers, a popular line of merchandise featuring birds inexplicably dressed like delinquents, and can be frequently sighted searching around town for them. While out and about, Richter typically leaves the office, and more importantly, Ernestine, in the care of Amamori, a junior high schooler who volunteered to assist Richter after being involved in a previous case. There's a lot of backstory for something that will most likely not matter as much, but remains to be seen. Maybe they're setting up like a universe or something. Oh. Azure Heron Agency. Lots of bird motives with this guy, it seems like. Richter Kai's private investigation firm in Kamata, Ota City. Originally, Kai thought to give it a simple name like Kai's Detective Agency, but upon hearing that people are more likely to pick names listed at the front of the phone book alphabetically, he decided to pick a name starting with an A. And then immediately he went with an A and a Z. Fucking retard. Thus, the Azure Heron Agency was established. However, it is questionable whether the heron, a bird of somewhat ominous significance, is an effective symbol for attracting customers. Even his own assistant has referred to the name as confusing at best. After all, rather than an Azure Heron, Richter keeps a white parrot as a pet. Okay, the parakeet is a parrot. And dressed not in blue, but mostly in white. If there was a symbolic connection to be made here, it has surely been lost on all but Richter himself. Private investigator, also known as a private eye, is a detective who operates their own agency. Although there are no formal qualifications necessary to become a private investigator, many are retired police agents or detectives due to the similarities between the work involved. At a glance, private investigation firms and inquiry offices might look similar, but they carry out in different types of investigations. Inquiry offices specialize in conducting credit checks on businesses, while private investigators are generally involved in tailing persons of interest and gaining information surreptitiously. Man, you know what? I think private investigator might be my dream job. If I could drop it all and do just my thing as a private investigator, I would love to do that. But I don't know if it's like, it's more of something that like exists in, it does exist in real life, don't get me wrong, right? But it's not as interesting in real life as it is in the movies and like stories. I don't think you quite understand. Oh, this isn't about evidence, and it isn't about belief. It's more than that. Why the fuck is she doing this thing with her eyes? I know it's real. The moment the curse appeared, I knew everything before it even said a word. And it was already there in my head as clear as day. You just knew, huh? I guess just as I just know when looking at you. It was etched onto my soul, along with the curse echoes resentful memories. I can feel it. What it was like. When you're not, but you keep sucking. Dying like they did, hundreds of years ago. Wreathed in flame, writhing in pain as my flesh blackens and my blood boils. I can feel it. All the agony, all the rage. It fills me with bloodlust. I think I need to kill someone. Anyone will do, just as long as they're carrying fire. I see. That could be a problem. Why is he turning into Mickey Mouse? You think so? From what I know of you, I was sure you'd see it as an opportunity. The stronger the desire to resurrect someone, the stronger the urge to kill. That's how it seems to me anyway. Good grief. Talk about the span and it works. I say we take stock for a moment. Remind ourselves that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. No, wait. Where we've come from and where we're going. That might be a good idea. The hag is hot? The hag is really fucking burning hot, isn't she? Okay. My heart's still racing. Okay, now. Okay, I guess we just keep talking to him about the investigation. That's what you hired me for, man. To look into your son's kidnapping last year. To uncover the truth behind the abduction and murder of Shuichi Shiki Mahihi. Oh, yes, I remember. They never did find the one who did it. That's what I'm here about today, in fact. My voice is cracking up. Kind of you to let me drop by so late, by the way. Does a cigarette count as a fire for the purpose of the curse? I think it needs to be a fire starter, and I don't think a cigarette by itself can be considered that. Maybe if the cigarette is burning currently. I've been turning over every last stone and have come up with a grand total of 0. 1 lead. So you said. As far as the police are concerned, it's a cold case, but I've managed to make some headway. Okay. Uneducated guess. It's to do with the 2 detectives that we're gonna play as the old one, but might be the young one actually. That had something to do with it, I don't know. I remember, you were just about to tell me. The Shigima kidnapping overview. A kidnapping and murder case that took place in Honjo, Sumida around 1 year ago. Haruo Shigima's son Shuichi, age 11, was kidnapped on his way home from school with a ransom being demanded that same evening. Initially, the kidnapping was thought of as a simple extortion scheme, but when it came to light that the Shigima family was closely tied to the police, and Shuichi was in fact the grandson of a senior official, it was quickly assumed that the perpetrator was acting upon a grudge against the police force. Kidnapping was treated as a direct attack against the good name of the police, and a large-scale investigation was launched that used the best equipment available to trace phone calls. It made it all the more embarrassing when they were unable to catch the culprit, losing the public's confidence and getting the kid killed most likely, right? It's like egg all over their face. The culprit grew cocky, relentlessly mocking the police force. After 3 days of failure after failure, Haruo reached a breaking point. Spurred by concern for her son, she resolved to hand over the ransom money as fast as possible, but her husband and father, who held the prestige of the police in high regard, refused, saying that they would not let the criminal win by giving in to their demands. "I'd rather have my son/grandson die!" The increasingly frantic detective assigned to the case lost his temper when the criminal called to give an ultimatum, causing the culprit to never make contact again. Another week passed and Shuichi's body was found floating in the Sumida River. Holy fucking shit, so they actually do know that he's certainly dead. Shuichi's death could be largely ascribed to the police incompetence, but it was ultimately covered up with stringent media embargoes. Fake news. The investigation was never closed, but the case has long gone cold. Pretty fucked up. Shuichi Shigima. Why are we getting... The only son of Haruo Shigima, he was kidnapped and murdered 1 year ago. His body was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi was a conscientious, brave young boy who was determined to protect his mother Haruo amid his father's frequent absences. Wow, that is like, oof. He dreamed of becoming a police officer and displayed diligence and an impressive sense of responsibility from a young age, likely due to being raised in an extremely strict environment. Born in the early 70s, he spent his days immersed in various activities and studies. Wait, if he was born in the early 70s and he was 11 when he died, that means we're in 1980. I thought we were in like set in somewhere like 19... Wait, no, it said that this was when Shogo was born, right? Born at the same time as the birth of color TV. I'm a retard, of course this takes place in 1980. Anyway... Shuichi's 10... Wait. That's not... Born in the early 70s, he spent his days immersed in various activities and studies, including playing piano, learning the abacus, taking English lessons, and training in kendo. Shuichi's tendency to put other people's needs over his own meant he died without ever telling his classmates how much he longed for them all to go out on a hunt for mockingbird stickers. Okay, I guess that's like one final regret. Okay, let's start from the top about the investigation. You know, we still need to figure out exactly what you want me to do. Tell you what? Why don't I tell you what I found and then we can make a decision? Alright. Okay. About the kidnapping. I suppose there's not much point going over the kidnapping itself. No, I'm very familiar. Then I'll leave that for the files to cover and just confirm a few things about the case. The police traced the culprit's calls back to... Let's see here. Northern Oyuko River here in Sumida City. That's quite a wide area. That's right. In the end, they never managed to nail down exactly where the calls were coming from. But it was almost certain the same location that Shuichi was being held captive, since Shuichi's voice could be heard during the killer's calls. Northern Oyuko River is quite a distance from Shuichi's normal school commute. Factoring in that he was seen at school by me, but went missing before he arrived at his house. It's likely that he was abducted by a car on his road home. Maybe, but... Exactly. Shuichi was a clever boy. He never would have gotten into a car with a stranger. Believe me, I tried. That's right. I was very firm about that. And now he understood, too. They even saw him warning the other children. It's possible that they forced him into the car. The only issue is, there weren't any witnesses to the kidnapping. You can't bundle someone into a car with that many students around and not be noticed. Again, most likely someone in the police force. But nobody came forward to say what they saw. Did they saw anything suspicious? So did they target him at some other time or somewhere away from his usual route? Both of those seem a little far-fetched. Which raised the question, how did the kidnapper pull it off? I'd like to know myself, you know. Police never managed to find an answer. In the end, they decided that the kidnapper must have just gotten lucky. Well, why not turn the problem on its head? Who's giving who mad? The kidnapper managed to convince Shuichi to get into the car, but how? Maybe like one of these weird-ass stickers? The only thing that makes sense to me is if there was somebody that he would have a reason to trust. A teacher perhaps, or a relative, or somebody else that he knew. But all of the adults Shuichi knew had alibis. The police checked them all thoroughly. They did, huh? No one throws numbers at a problem like the cops. But what if it wasn't someone who knew, or rather... What if the cop disguised himself as a police officer? That would explain why he didn't find him suspicious. The Shigema family has close ties with the police after all. He would have had a reason to trust them. Might be right. But surely that couldn't have... Well, there's a problem with the theory. You'd be surprised how much police officers stand out. That's sort of the point after all. They're meant to be a visible deterrent against crime. Imposter? Yeah, very suspicious, isn't it? Shit, fuck that up. But there's another interesting little bit of trivia I happen to know. Did you know that even with seatbelts, people die in car crashes all the time? When you ask people to imagine someone suspicious, nobody pictures women or children. Why is that? Why is that actually? Why are women never like... I know a few suspicious women. I also know a lot of... Well, I can't say I know a lot of suspicious children, but some of them do look very suspicious. Even kids who've been warned about stranger danger often subconsciously expect the danger to look like an adult man. Besides, Shuichi was the sort of boy who wanted to be a police officer when he grew up. He must have had a very strong sense of right and wrong. That's right. Wait, surely you can't mean... Now you're getting it. If, say, a young woman approached Shuichi asking for help, what would he have done? If someone like that said they were lost and asked him for directions, would he have gotten into a car? He might have. Wow, I like that sound effect. Ring! My husband always told him that a man had a duty to watch out for women and children. You could certainly argue that kind of attitude is outdated nowadays. But if Shuichi believed it, then we might have something here. You think the culprit was a young woman? But it was a man's voice on the phone. Oh, it's not as if two people can work together to kidnap a child? She might have been an accomplice, or maybe she didn't even realize she was being used. If anything, that would explain why she hasn't come forward. She herself might not realize she had anything to do with the case. Oh man, stuff like this really fucks me up because we're at the age with Babby where we have to tell her what to do when she ever gets lost or like something happens to her. And while we have told her repeatedly that she's not supposed to go with anyone she doesn't know, it's very hard to like... How do you tell this to a child who at times seems oddly perceptive, but at other times you can tell her specific things 20 times and she doesn't remember? Like, you need to be very, very, like, precise about it. Don't go with anyone you don't know. Only go with just mom and dad and maybe like grandpa and grandma or your uncles that you know. But if they say they're your uncle but you don't recognize them, don't go with them and stuff like that. Also, when she gets lost, like, secretary has read... I don't know, like, she's a teacher, she knows about the stuff, but she's repeatedly told her if you ever get lost, look for a mother with another child and ask them for help because they're most likely, obviously, to help a child, right? But does this really work like that? Like, there's another thing you can do is, like, if you ever get lost in a store, look for the people that work there, but at the same time, will she be able to recognize, like, that's a thing for all the children, right? Because will she be able to recognize who works at the store? Like, she would be able to recognize who works at the store I work at, for example, right? By the uniform. But in other stores, like, she wouldn't. So I think the compromise with, like, look for a mother with children and ask them for help is actually a pretty good one, because, yeah, it's just... that really goes in the same direction as, like, if you think of someone suspicious, you think of a man, right? You don't think of a woman. Like, women just have this free pass where they're like you see a woman with a child, you don't think anything. But if you see a man with a child and the child throws a tantrum or something, you go, wait a second. Like, if a child throws a tantrum with a woman, you just think, oh, right, it's the child and it's the mother and they're having a little argument or something. But if Babby were to be like, no, I don't want to go with you or something because I want her to go home with me or something, and people from the outside would see, they would think that I was trying to kidnap this child, right? And I don't know, that's something I've thought about a few times before. Obviously, I live in a smaller village and, like, everyone in the kindergarten recognizes me and stuff, but it's kind of like, you know, as a man, you face these problems that certainly as a woman you do not, I think. This game is exploring gender standards a lot deeper, yeah. Single, yes, as a single dad, it must be even harder, I guess. Yeah. I never remember those things. Unless your mind is completely broken by memes and your association with the word suspicious as a weird astronaut without arms. Do you think that in the coming years we'll see a lot of kidnappings because children just don't recognize stranger danger anymore because they think as long as this guy doesn't turn around and reveals himself to be a monster, I'm okay with going with this guy? Or, like, perfect music for this moment. Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? Okay, is there any more to this? So the question is, did anybody see Shuichi speaking with a young woman on the day of his disappearance? See, what I said about people's biases, that goes for witnesses too. And I figured that maybe if I started asking new questions, I might get some new answers. So I spent my day asking around Shuichi's school round, seeing if anyone had seen something. It's been a year. No one will be able to remember anything. And one man thought he had. Do you mean he saw it happen? Well, I can't say that for sure yet. It turned out he wanted something from me, so he asked if we could talk in private. Oh, I'm getting a flashback! Several hours earlier. Children are a bit more cautious nowadays. They're gonna call it a Drake moment or something. I think I missed the one with Drake. Like, is Drake a pedophile as well? I don't... Like, I'm more, like, I don't know if I would say that I'm knowledgeable about the YouTube pedophiles, but it feels like this, like, the news travels to me easier than, like, the music industry pedophiles, because I do think that pretty much everyone in the music industry most likely is a pedophile. Too many pedos being revealed, and now every kid is making fun of them and avoiding any suspicious person they see. I don't know if it's a good thing that, like, it's definitely a good thing that many pedos are revealed, right? That's one thing. But the other thing is that overexposure to a certain phenomenon, like pedophilia, for the children growing up now, like, oh, this guy on YouTube was a pedophile, this music artist is a pedophile, like this dude, this guy, this, maybe even woman, who knows? Mostly men, apparently. It makes me wonder if losing its edge is the wrong term I'm looking for here, but I think it's losing. It's definitely losing the oomph, the punch for the children, most likely. Especially if it's someone they looked up to. Like, that goes in the direction of parasocial relationships, right? Imagine if, like, X-YouTuber is revealed to be a pedophile, but he had a following of many, many, many millions of children or something. And the children go, oh, but he was never a bad guy. I always liked his content or something, or I like something along these lines, right? So then they do actually, in fact, meet someone in real life who has pedophilic tendencies or something, trying to approach and groom them or whatever. I don't know how it works. And then they think, oh, this is not too bad because ex-YouTuber that I liked was also a pedophile. Maybe they're like not bad people or something, right? That's like, it's fucked up line of thinking, definitely, but it's something that happens with like overexposure. It's losing its impact by repeated exposure. Thank you, Ghosted Host. You put it quite well, actually. It is MIPs tonight, isn't it MAPs? Like minor attracted persons or something? Isn't that the term that they're trying to somehow force? Drake got caught doing weirdly suspicious things with minors. Somewhat alleged, but has some proof. What is a weirdly suspicious thing? He got his other hidden child leaked. What does this have to do with pedophilia accusations though? I think a lot of people have hidden children that we just don't know about, which is kind of crazy because like these days it's most likely harder to keep a child hidden than like a few decades ago. But I love how Wikipedia has an article on this feud that has an info box like it's a war battle. On which feud does Wikipedia have an article? Handing out pedo allegations like Oprah hands out garbage. The shock value of someone being a pedo on YouTube is just a minor shock nowadays. Yeah, it feels as if everyone is one, right? It's always, and that's the funny thing because it's the thing with many things, but the people most outraged at X thing somehow are always more likely to be perpetrators of X thing, right? Like that's the weird thing. Like so many people shouting like pedophilia and like creeps at like anime fans or something, right? So many of those get outed as like actual pedophiles after the fact that there's like even a compilation image of it happening several dozen times, right? It's kind of weird. It's projection, right? It's like a psychological thing that the people most outraged are more likely to engage in something because they feel like they have to blend in or something. Something along these lines, I guess. MAP is such a pointless term when you consider that pedophile just means friend of children or something. Yeah, the whole file and phobe terminology is wonky at best these days. I mean, like that's a literal translation, Desperator, but we all know what is actually meant by pedophile, right? It's like homophobia. Like no one is afraid of gay people. They dislike gay people, right? That's the thing. He found a girl was 17 on stage after doing some weird stuff with her, and then continued doing weirder stuff with her. And what is the weird stuff? What did he do? I saw a video a few days ago of like some kind, I don't know what that was. I just saw it and I thought, what the fuck is going on? Of some rapper or someone, he had like this woman on a chair on stage and he spit into her mouth. And I thought, what the fuck is happening with the world? And then I remembered another video I saw of like this music artist, a female music artist, pissing into a guy's mouth on stage. Don't ask me why I keep watching these videos. But now I keep finding it. But it's just weird stuff happens in music festivals and like in concerts. But how did you find that video? I just, it just keeps happening to me somehow. It's like they come to me rather than I go out and look for them. Listing off the tracks like the deployed forces. Drake, Kendrick, Lamar feud. I don't know anything about rap or like black music culture in America or something. I'm sorry. The reason I bring up is Other Child. It all got leaked from a diss track by someone else in the hip-hop industry. Music industry is kind of whack. The music industry is like completely fucked up by the people pulling the strings. And I do think that some people that have tried to get out of it and some people that have successfully gotten out of it, I think they're all telling the truth, actually. Like, I'm making fun of Michael Jackson right now with the voice of Richter, but like Michael Jackson got fucked over by the music industry massively, and I do think that he was also killed by the music industry in the end. I do 100% believe that he had mental problems, but was taken advantage of due to it, or maybe it gotten to the point where it was because he was taken advantage of, and they just further developed his mental problems. Because he got fucked by Sony massively. If you read up on Michael Jackson, the stuff he said, the stuff he did, and how he antagonized the people in the music industry, and how the people in the music industry hated him for it, like, that's crazy. That should have its own Wikipedia article, but I doubt it has. I really doubt it has. They killed him because they were able to buy a lot of the music catalog that he bought for cheap back. They didn't want him to have the rights. Like, he had the rights to, like, so many Beatles songs or something. It's kind of crazy. I'm a lambda file. Yeah, I love you too, Lightning Hand. Like, as much as I can love a person that I've never met on the internet, I guess. Like, I love what I know of you, at least. We all also know what map means. They accomplished absolutely nothing. It's just a re-terminology, right? But it's like MAP sounds less burdened than pedophile, I guess. Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. Here's a video of Drake being freaky if you're interested. Can someone send this video as a Let's Talk, please? I am rather interested. Please, if someone could just copy this link, ice.trt sent, and just send it as a Let's Talk. Should become a weep and read visual novels instead. We're going to continue in a second. I didn't know hip-hop was a genre until I saw the drama with Drake. What the how do you not know hip-hop is a genre? Thank you for sending the Let's Talk. Alright, this should do. There's no one around. We can speak in confidence. Excuse me, what was your name again? Oh yeah, he looks 80s as fuck. Holy fucking shit. Junoichi. Got it. Well, Junoichi, I'm all ears. He even has the pedophile glasses talking about this topic. I don't know if you can you attribute certain things to, like, certain looks of people? Like, at times you see someone and you're really prejudiced, right? You really think, oh, this person looks like a loser or a creep or a pedophile or, like, I don't know, someone who does X or Y bad things, right? But then at the same time, can you really do that? Isn't this just because of let's see, how should I put this? You're just making yourself believe that way? Do you know how many people get away with doing shit just because they look nice? I think there's a thing in psychology. Have we learned about this in the video with the psychology stuff? There's so many people getting away with stuff just because they're attractive and good looking. Because if you are attractive and good looking, you can do whatever the fuck you want most of the time. You need to really fuck up for people to tell you to stop. It's kind of that is really whack, actually. Whereas ugly people are put under more pressure and suspicion, I think. Speaking from experience here. Just so we're on the same page. You're a private detective investigating Chuichi Shigima's kidnapping. Do I have to write? Of course. What else do I look like? Oh, should I know what a private detective looks like? Oh, forget it. The halo effect. So we have learned about this, okay? That is a crazy one. I wonder why we still have this in current year. We made so many advances towards, I don't know. Have we? Towards equality? I'm not entirely sure. It feels like the more we strive for, like, equal rights and equal everything, the more it drives us apart. The more I keep thinking, like, oh, holy shit, I want to do it right, but at the same time, it just makes me so angry, and it makes me so, like, contra everything that I somehow I'm not turning into a bad person, right? But at times I think, am I oversteering in one direction now just because I want to be overly correct? And I think a lot of people do that with, like, even subconsciously. It's like reverse racism or something. Is that a thing? Like, is that a term? Reverse racism? I guess if you treat people of other races better, like in terms of racism, obviously there's more things. Like if you treat women better than men suddenly, if you treat, like, I don't know. It's very hard to make a case about, like, treating mentally disabled people better than regular people because obviously they need the help. But I don't think that mentally disabled people are on the same level as women or black people, right? Like, saying it like that makes it sound weird, yet at the same time, it makes an odd amount of sense to say that women are not the same as mentally disabled people, right? So you get where I'm going with this. Oh my god. Yeah, how to speedrun ending your fucking Twitch account. So I am fully for treating people with mental disabilities better, right? Giving them accessibility and stuff. Because they're living a hard life. They are actually, in the truest term, handicapped, right? So that's a good thing. I don't think we need to serve everything on a silver platter for, like, women or people of other races. Yes, they might have the struggles, yet at the same time, I think it's already very, very better than it was before. And it is often, and I know this from experience, right? I know this from someone else's experience, secretary, telling me this. She's a woman, right? She can say this. She says that girls are treated better in school than boys. Like, they like, teachers are generally more lenient towards girls. Girls get better grades because the teachers like them more, rather than the girls being smarter. And she knows this. She's fully aware of it. But she also fully knows that in her class, if there's like 15 boys and 15 girls, chances are she'll like 2 boys of them, but 5 of the girls, right? As in, they are her favorite children that she likes to teach because they're just nice to be around or something, right? So she's more likely to give them better grades, which would be fixed by like anonymous grading and stuff, but that doesn't really work in like elementary school or grade school or something. So, and people tend to overcourse correct in the opposite direction. Yes, okay, I'm not the only one seeing it. Holy fucking shit. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Absolutely fucking wrong. Akira Flame. Beauty is not in the eye of the beholder. Like, beauty is a standard that is set by the majority. Yes, beauty, like, strictly is decided by the person itself, right? There are some people out there that are into very weird fucking shit. So they will like very weird fucking looking people. But generally, we know what actual beauty is. And I think inherently every person is able to recognize beauty. And I don't just mean like a beautiful person, but I mean beauty in nature, beauty in arts, beauty in like like beauty wherever you can find beauty. That is an inherent ability of the human soul to recognize it. And if we twist it like that, if we try to tell people that certain things are beautiful, even though everyone is fully aware that these things are not beautiful, I think we're crippling our souls. Legitimately. I think we are actively denying our human nature, our souls, our whatever the fuck it is that drives us into just accepting everything. And yes, there can be beauty in very weird and unlikely places. There's a certain beauty in the cycle of life and death, for example. But there's no beauty in like grotesque displays of certain things that are happening these days, in my opinion. In my opinion, I have to add this at the end, right? Because obviously it could all be bullshit that I'm starting here. You thought I was speaking... I also think that physical beauty is also... Like, physical beauty is the most easy to define, actually. Because physical beauty is an inherent urge given to us by nature. Physical beauty for a man, when he looks at a woman, are white, birthing hips and an hourglass figure that accentuates and emphasizes the secondary sexual characteristics, like breasts, for example, right? A woman with big breasts and wide hips is, from a natural standpoint, for a man, beautiful. Like, that's it. That's what a man looks for instinctively if he wants to spread his, like, genes, right? So that's the kind of thing where it goes really weird when you try to tell people otherwise. And yes, I'm not into big tits or something, right? I'm more of a like all shapes and sizes kind of dude. But yeah, flat is justice too, right? But that's the thing. Like that's what we're actually hardwired by nature to look for. So many people cope by saying, but taste is subjective, like hell it is. Otherwise, food science and mega corporations engineering perfect junk food wasn't a thing. That's a good point to bring up. The perversion of like perfection. Like, it's good to do it when we're doing it to make money, right? Then we can actually say that this works 100% of the time. Yet at other times, no, you can't say that everything is beautiful, everything tastes nice. You can even taste, you can eat a log of shit and it tastes nice. Look, I tell you straight, my life is in danger. I need your help. Lambda keeps talking. I need your help. You'll excuse me if that caught me a little off guard. Kane is confused. It's super effective. Oh shit, hello Arcane. What a thing to join into. I just had a massive rant about what was this even started by? Was this started by... like, we were talking about pedophiles or something earlier, right? How many more times can I say it to get my like account shadow banned on YouTube as soon as I upload this? Let me ask you straight. Who's trying to kill you? A student called Michio Shiraishi. Interesting. A schoolgirl, eh? Oh, you think it's the friend of like the high school girl we would play as? Sounds like you've been naughty. It's nothing like that. That girl, she's a murderer. I'm the only one who knows, but I saw what she did. Michio Shiraishi. I saw her kidnap Shuichi Shigima. Oh, so wait a second. The girl who kidnapped the boy is also after your life? Sounds like your prime bait then. Come again? Yeah. I saw her talk to him on the street and lead him away. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then he went missing. Why would YouTube ban you over PDF files? It's like they have, like, they just don't want anyone, like, no negativity in the dojo. I think is not only the mantra in like Blizzard Entertainment, but also for YouTube. They don't want anyone to talk about like negative things, especially not if they were actively happening due to their poster children and content creators on their platform or something. Too many of them and they can't keep up. Yes. We were talking about fax machines and dial phones originally. Can we go back to that, please? She murdered him, I'm sure of it, or at least she's got something to do with it. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Then you can't let her get to me. That's true. You've been sitting on some valuable information. Why didn't you tell anybody? Well, you see, if you can't explain that, I don't have any reason to believe you. I couldn't. She told me she'd kill me if I spoke a word. You're telling me a schoolgirl had you scared for your life? Relatable. So you've been sitting on that all this time, and you think she's coming for you now that you've spilled the beans? Yes, that's it exactly. I'm begging you, don't let her get me. Arrest her, I'm telling you, she's a demon. Or maybe she had her cursed power earlier than the others? Well, you seem to believe what you're saying, but it just doesn't add up. How could a schoolgirl have a fully grown man so terrified? Allegations? I don't know. You don't know what she can do. She'll curse me. Curse you? I'm sorry, but you're losing me here. Oh my god, look at his dick-sucking lips. It's true, her house, it's... Oh, forget it, why do I even bother? You seem dubious enough to believe me, but I should have known you'd never understand. Enough, I'll find somebody else to help me. But he already spilled the beans now. Hey. Hey. But that was weird. That's about the long and short of it. I can hardly believe it. At the time I thought his mention of curses was just crazy talk. But I'm starting to see that there might have been more to it. Then, if we can just find that girl. Curse or no curse, if she was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping, and there's a good chance she knows something. On top of that, I did some digging on the man I spoke to. His full name's Kui Shunichi. He's a teacher at Komagata High School here in Sumida. A teacher? Then the schoolgirl is one of his students? I think it's very likely. I gotta imagine getting blackmailed by a fucking student. That must fucking sting. I wonder if that's a thing that happens a lot in Japan? Or in other countries? I don't know if it happens in Germany. Like, we get warped by the media we consume, right? And by the stories we hear. Certain stories stick in our mind longer than others. I actually know a lot of teachers, but none of them have ever told me anything too whack or too crazy, story-wise. But I do know that, like, I've read stories on the internet of, like, oh, I'm a substitute teacher, and every time I go into class, there's, like, young girls who try to flirt with me or something, and you go, is this real? Like, do they really, or is this like wishful thinking or something? And then you read like stories like Grand Teacher Onizuka, where they like he gets fucking, they try to blackmail him like every 10 chapters or something. But obviously he always gets around it somehow. He like pulls out his bat or something, or his bike, and he threatens them, and they nearly die. And then with the power of like student-teacher relationships, they get around to it and fix the problems. Man, GTO is such a great manga. I should reread that one, actually. I can't remember how it ended. I think it ended okay, actually. So yeah, kind of like, does this happen a lot? I don't know. Great teacher Onizuka. Truly, like, one of the best manga of all time, GTO. Anything more about the kidnapping? At last, we've got a lead. Hopefully it'll be the breakthrough we're looking for. Oh, yeah, there's a bot here. Hello, bot. About the Rite of Resurrection. The Rite of Resurrection, huh? I read about that in an occult magazine the other day. Apparently some old book showed up recently with all the gory details. They say that the rite can be found somewhere in Honjo. I remember the first time he told me about that. What? Does he just frequently run around telling people about it? They haven't even known each other for that long. It felt like my prayers had been heard. Like I had hope, real hope for the first time. Ever since that awful day, I've wondered, what if I hadn't sent him to school? What if I'd just paid the ransom? You tried, woman. It's not your fault. Not a day goes by when I don't think that if I'd done something differently, Shuichi would still be alive. You can't blame yourself, ma'am. It was the culprit's fault, not yours. And most likely the police as well. Like, they done goofed massively in this case. So I know that won't help any. Grief is funny like that. Guessing that's why you're after the right. Guess I didn't need to ask. It's written all over your face. I can tell how much he meant to you. But, and this is a big but. I love big buts. If this bride is the real deal, using it will mean killing someone and stealing their soul. Is that a problem? If it comes to that, I'm afraid I'll have to stop you. That's a shame. Shame, huh? That's all? I thought, if I'm going to be competing with other curse bearers, your detective skills might come in useful. You realize you're talking about ending someone's life, right? Don't you see an issue with that? I wonder if, as soon as you have the power to end someone's life itself loses a lot of its meaning and weight. Maybe Lightning Hand will be able to talk about this, because I've never held a gun in my hand. I've never held an instrument that can easily kill a person other than a knife, maybe. And I don't think it's easy to kill with a knife. There's a lot of personal physical struggle involved with that most of the time, if you don't just stab someone unassumedly. Like, it's definitely harder to... Have we talked about this topic before? It's definitely harder to stab someone than it is to shoot someone. And it's even easier to just press a button to kill, like, dozens of people with a bomb. Right? So what goes on in the head of someone that has an instrument of killing in their hands, I wonder? Oldest thing to happen at my school was a year 5, grade 4 kid vaping in the bathroom. It's like 10 years old. Yeah, they start very young these days. The whole vaping thing is the worst thing that has happened to like teenagers and young children in recent years, in my opinion, because access to cigarettes was hard, and smoking is unattractive and like hard to hide, and it doesn't taste nice, right? Smoking. So most teenagers, they tried once but then stop. But vaping is a cool thing. It tastes nice. You can get it everywhere. You can do it anywhere. You can just hide it somewhere. Like, vaping is so bad. It feels as if it was manufactured specifically because there was a big hole suddenly where they weren't able to tap into the teenage and kid money anymore. And they had to come up with something new. Vaping was not a thing they invented because they wanted to help people get rid of smoking and their smoking habits. It's more like they wanted just another market they could just siphon money from. But that's just me and my schizo opinions, obviously, like my conspiracy tinfoil hat ones. Don't believe me. Who am I to say all of this? Never held a gun before, really? No! It's just such an outlandish thing to say that I never held a gun before. I think the majority of people never have. Everything can kill people. Even my hands. Knife killing is a lot more effort. It's very personal. More than one stab and you have to do it up close. Well, it's also very likely, like I've heard this somewhere. I don't know if it's bullshit or not. But if you stab someone with a knife, chances are that you'll hurt yourself in the struggle or something, because the knife is sharp. You touch it the wrong way and you cut yourself. We almost got rid of cigarettes. We almost got rid of them, and someone had to make it mango flavored. I don't know what's happening with the cigarette industry anymore. Are they still fine? Less and less people I know are smoking, but the ones that do it, they can't stop. The funny thing is, the people that I know that smoke, some of them smoke and vape at the same time. They're not even trying to wean themselves off. They just added another vice to their wallet. I don't know. They felt smoking aura of coolness didn't grab recent generations. They needed a new income source. I do think that smoking, and I hate smoking, mind you. You all should know that. I do think that smoking is still cooler than vaping. I don't know about you, but vaping seems very, very pussy to me. I don't know. Like the amount of YouTubers that make... Oh God, I will never get sponsored by this company now. The amount of YouTubers that have a sponsorship deal with this one vaping company, where it's like, oh, it tastes like this and that. Oh, you can fidget with the vaping pen. You can fidget with it. You can spin it on your hand or something. And I see this shit and I think, who the fuck is like... What's going on? Why would you advertise? Why would you advertise with that? Why would you advertise with the fact that you can fidget with this thing? Almost as if it's a good thing, that if people need to fidget, they have something in their hands. And it's a vaping instrument, so they can vape at the same time. 2 birds with 1 stone. Kill yourself by being an overactive bastard. It's one of these streams where we don't make any progress, but I keep getting roped into a fucking tangent every 10 seconds. I think any parent in my position would happily kill for a chance like this. 100%. 100%. If something happened to Babby, I would kill like 99% of the human population to bring her back. Sorry to say. Is this fucked up? Like, this is fucked up, right? I am sure of it, that this opinion is like... I wouldn't kill 99% of the human population because there's a lot of children out there. And they make up... I don't know, do children make up a majority of the population at this point? I don't think they do, with so many countries not being able to populate enough. But I think if I had the means to bring her back, I would definitely try my best. Let's put it like that. Why are you watching YouTubers with sponsorship, no less? Man, I am ill. It happens to the best of us, okay? Like, you click a video, you think it's interesting, and then you get blammoed with a fucking sponsorship YouTuber. That's so, is it? Dear, oh dear, what have I got myself into? If it makes you uncomfortable, then you won't have to get any blood on your hands yourself. I don't need you to kill the other curse bearers. I only need you to find them. I won't be party to murder, ma'am. Not even for a client. I'll pay you. How about I'll make you pay? It's a shame. I see. I didn't realize he was so stubborn. I think it would be like an insult to him if we were telling him that we'll pay him to just disregard his integrity like this. Let me say, though, it's not like I don't get what you're going through. As long as you're not killing anyone with your own hands, maybe I can help you out. It's not like... Wait a second. What do you mean by that? What do you have in mind? Well, how about stealing someone else's curse stone after they filled it with soul drags? If that was all you were after, then I could lend you my services guilt-free. If the other curse bearers want to kill each other, that's their business. I'm not trying to be a hero here. Okay, can we do a thought experiment? What if there's 10 curse bearers, and curse bearer A kills 8 of them, which means there's 2 left. Curse bearer A and curse bearer Z. Right? And curse bearer A has 100% soul drags now, and he can resurrect, I don't know, like, can we think of a bad person? He wants to resurrect Jack the Ripper, the non-fate version, you know, the one that's not addicted to anal. So, and then curse bearer Z goes and says, wow, give me your curse stone, please, with all of the soul drags, or I'll do nothing because I don't want to kill anyone. Wouldn't curse bearer Z be rightful to kill curse bearer A because curse bearer A has already killed 8 people and wants to resurrect Jack the Ripper? Again, the murderous one, not the one, you know, who wants to up their butt. If I'm curse bearer Z, I'm not even using my curse. I'm shooting him immediately. Wouldn't there logically be 7? Number 1 would be J. What the fuck are you talking about this? That's valid. I pray you never hold a gun after that statement, though. Oh, I don't know. Like, do you guys know about this case? We can look it up after the stream if you want to. There is this very famous case, but the details elude me right now, of where there was a child that was killed. I don't know if she was just killed or raped and killed or like kidnapped and killed or something. And they had the culprit, right? And he was on his way to the courtroom, to the trial. And the father of the child had himself disguised, and on the way to the trial, he shot the murderer. He shot him, like he shot the murderer. He had a gun with him. He shot him. He dropped the gun, and he immediately surrendered. That was all he wanted to do. He just wanted justice for the murder of his child, because he knew that he was most likely gonna get away with it, like with some kind of bullshit verdict or something. And I know this is like, there's a lot of moral arguments to be made there, and it's a very, like, it's hard to judge. It's a very, very emotionally loaded situation, especially if you're the parent of the child that was murdered by this person. But I do think that I would most likely act the same way. I would not be able to forgive anyone who harms my child. And I don't know if I can't go back, obviously now. I can't go back, and I never really thought about it before I had Babby. But as soon as I had Babby, the moment I first held her in my arms, these feelings awoke in me. I knew immediately that if anyone ever tries to harm this person that I'm holding in my arms right now, I will let fucking hell rain on them. I will not let them get away with it. Never. Never, ever, ever. I will make their life just unbearable. I remember that case. Don't know what ended up happening to that. I think he got prison time, actually. I mean, a murderer getting shot by an angry dad. If I'm the judge, I don't know if I want to be the dad's enemy. The other curse bearers want to kill each other. That's their business. I'm not trying to be a hero here. I guess there's no guarantee a stolen curse stone will work, but we can worry about that later. Well then, I suppose we have a deal. Again, if there's a curse bearer out there killing 99% of them, then killing this one would be a service to like everyone involved, I think. But whatever. Although, what if I stole a curse stone using my curse? Would you disapprove? Your curse always involves killing people. But whatever. That would void our contract, ma'am. Just warning you now. My. So she has to decide now. Does she want to go all in on like resurrecting her son? Or does she want to trust this dude into solving the case? She just recognized, or rather she's about to recognize that she can't do both if she fucks it up along the way. About my curse. There was also a case where father killed airport radio operator after he allegedly caused a plane crash where his child died. Oof, ML, now we're getting into gray territory here because you even say allegedly. Like, was he really at fault? Was that like a... He didn't actively and directly kill the child. I don't know how I feel about this situation. Jesus. Before we go any further, why don't you tell me about that curse of yours? The haunting clappers, was it? It's one of the 7 mysteries of Honjo, if I remember correctly. That's right. The original story did happen somewhere near here, but I think... I'm sure I remember hearing that. In that case, my money would be on all the curse bearers being somewhere in Honjo. Our first move should be to narrow them down. Some of them are bound to try and come for you first. We'll need to be ready. The curse makes the bearers more willing to kill, so an attack could come from anywhere. Sounds sensible. What if you just stayed home? Like, just let them kill each other. And if I remember correctly, your hunting clappers can set people on fire, but only if they have a naked flame or light on the person. Is that right? That's right. If they have a naked flame or fire on the person. So it doesn't work with matchsticks? Huh. Well, maybe a matchstick is considered a lighter as well in this case. I don't know. In olden times, wooden clappers were used to warn people of fire. Guessing it punishes those who don't heed the warning. Seems like a good curse to have. Simple and straightforward enough to use. Although it's hard to say how it stacks up without knowing what else is on the table. Oh, maybe the counting down the questions thing is a thing she came up with together with him to determine whether she's allowed to kill someone or something. Like it's like a limit they imposed on themselves. Not to immediately kill someone, but they let them ask 10 questions or something. I don't know. You really think it's that good? The target can't do much to throw it off, and it has a nice long activation window. It's big that it works on lighters too. Just slip one into your target's pocket and say that condition were already fulfilled before they even knew you're there. They wouldn't even know what hit them. Maybe I won't have to actually use it. Could just tell someone I could, and they'd have to do what I said. Threats could work, although without any proof it'll come down to how convincing you can be. If only you could use the curse and back out at the last second. At the last second? What an interesting idea. I don't know about her, but she seems a little bit loony. I have a lighter right here. We could try it now. The fuck? That's an interesting proposition. But I refuse. But maybe not. I'm not quite crazy enough to make myself a guinea pig. Oh, I see. You're not one, ma'am, if you don't mind me saying. And I don't think it's just a curse. What the fuck, dude? Oh, he's savage. He's fucking savage. I love him. I love Richter. You flatterer. I love her too. There's a certain dynamic between these two that I kind of like. As for what we do next, first of all, I think you should stay indoors. Yeah, I would do the same. Let them kill each other for a while. Try not to do anything spontaneous or outside your normal routine. She does come across as unhinged. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, she was like suffering from depression for like a year, right? Because her son was killed. So, oh, look, a chandelier. The lights. The chandelier is the only thing in here that's my choice. It's my favorite part of the room. Voice. Right then, have you decided what you want me working on? Help me with the right. Investigate the kidnapping. Is there, like, this is really, I guess this branches the story. This branches the story. And obviously investigating the kidnapping is the right move. Do you guys have any opinions about this? Is it the right move? Arcane. I see. When have you turned into a dad? We'll have to do both anyway. Right all the way. Okay, we're gonna start from the top again then. Help me with the right. Bringing my son back is more important. I want you to help me with the rite of resurrection. Guessing the right will get her ending and investigating the kidnapping gets her killed? I think it's the other way around. There's no closure in bringing back a dead person, I'm sorry to say. Like, that shouldn't be the moral of this. The moral should be for her to investigate who killed her son and get some closure and get an ending to her story, rather than being happy-go-lucky with, like, a zombie son or something. Roger that. The right it is. Odds are good that the other curse bearers are also working by night. Anyone they kill under the cover of darkness won't be discovered until sunrise. Is that how it works? I bet they'll be trying to do as much as they can before morning comes. So it's settled then. I'll look into the other curse bearers by night. And once the city wakes up and it can start asking questions, I'll investigate the kidnapping as well. We'll be dead by then. I'll even try and find Miss Shiraishi as part of the bargain. Thank you. That's more than enough. Are we done yet? Like, no then. Look at this guy. Yeah, like, I wish I looked like that. I gotta be honest, like, he has a very, like, charming fashion sense, actually. Is it the head? I wonder if it's the head. Like, does the head make the person? I should get to work. There's only so much time before sunrise. I'll call you if I find out anything new. You stay here and keep a lookout. Right. There's no telling what kinds of curses you might find out on the streets tonight. Don't go outside if you can help it, and try to be ready for anything. I will. Like, this guy is a direct reference to Michael Jackson, isn't he? I mean, this pose alone. Well, if that is all, I should be going. Shamo! A nice thought. We can even advance all routes at the same time, but we're gonna finish with her as fast as possible. We're gonna do this one, and an end for today, maybe. Despite having obtained the curse of the haunting clappers, Haru Shigima is determined to use the Rite of Resurrection by stealing the remaining curse stones. She instructs a private investigator, Richter, to find the other curse bearers. Haru Shigima, 1 a.m. Shigima Mansion Reception Room. Imagine if after murdering half a dozen people you bring somebody back and they are perfectly fine, no drawbacks. Wouldn't that be utterly unexpected? That would certainly be a subversion of the genre. The outfit is pretty simplistic. He has a nice V silhouette. Alright, Lightning Hand, not everyone looks like a fucking Chad like you, okay? It's been almost an hour since Richter left. He promised he'd call me if anything happened. But he hasn't. So all I can do is wait and wait. And think, I guess, and look around. I know it's dangerous to go out, but I can't just sit here and let this opportunity pass me by. I have to look for Michio Shiraishi. But first I need to find more sold rags. Newspaper here. What's this, a newspaper? I must have fallen off the chair. Read it, sure, of course. Let's take our mind off things. It's a newspaper. I only leave them in here for the guests. I hardly ever read them myself. Imagine living in a house that has a reception room. I mean, that just screams like rich people, right? A reception room, what the fuck? I don't think I've taken the time to go over one in years, in fact. Well, it's not like I have anything better to do. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at the culture articles. Now that everyone has more spending money to go around, people are coming up with all kinds of new diversions. Seems like only yesterday that people were flocking to the arcades to shoot aliens. But now we have these enormous theme parks and gaming machines that plug straight into our televisions. Everyone's talking about superhero series, foreign films, and movies based on the latest bestseller. Back in my day, fusion rock and folk music was all the rage. What the fuck is fusion rock? But now it's all about city pop and idols. I love them idols. I find it hard to care about that sort of thing anymore. Can I turn on the telly? There's nothing on at this hour. I see no point in turning it on. Oh yeah, fuck. People won't be able to remember this, but like a few decades back, there was just no program at night. Like the television centers, they were just turning off for the night, and then you had like this a test signal all night on certain channels, which I guess was a thing because they weren't able to man the TV stations or like automate the TV stations for like the nighttime programs. So it's kind of weird though that this was how it started, right? Like only during certain times there was something on the telly. Man, I wish we could go back. I wish we could go back to a more slow life, like a more toned down life, not filled with conveniences and technology at every turn. It is like it's getting worse and worse by like the minute, it feels like. So many more things are being automated and modernized, and like so many things are changing. I can't keep up. I'm sitting here listening to boomer rock, wanting for life to go back to how it was in 1960s. No need for constant stimulation. Yes, just sitting there somewhere. I mean, at this point, it's apparently a meme. If you sit somewhere and don't do anything, they call it, and I've seen this a few days ago, they call it raw dogging or something. So it's a meme to sit in a plane and raw dog the flight, which means not being on your phone or not watching like the TV screen in the plane or something. Raw dogging a life. Google this. I've never heard anyone call it raw dogging. Really? Am I like am I like confusing terminology here? I think it's called raw dogging. Who calls it that? You heard? Jesus God. Okay. Thank God I'm not the only one. Oh, thank God I'm not just coming up with terms and like certain things happening in the world in my sleep. Oh my God, it was revealed to me in a dream. It is dumb. Okay. What do they think people do when they meditate? Exactly. Like it's almost as if these people don't think at all. Because like for me, I'm not almost constantly raw dogging, but there's times where I just sit down and I just think. And I hate myself for it because I hate myself when I think, but I just need to do it at some point. I just need to sit down and for me, that's like something like similar to relaxing, I guess. Is to just sit down and just do nothing for like 5 minutes at a time. But for these people seeking constant stimulation and constant like entertainment, it's a foreign concept to them. For them, it's a meme because everything is a meme these days. Nothing can be like serious anymore. Everything has to be a meme. What is raw dogging even? Like, ask any white woman. They know. They just know. Oh. Watch fucking Bluey videos? Fuck, don't get Bluey into this. I love Bluey. Who up raw dogging in the plane right now? Oh. I was pretty sure raw dogging is just sex with no condom. I thought that was just going in raw without raw dogging. Like, dogging? Well, I guess in the UK, like, yeah, dogging is like a synonym for. Might be considered a boomer by internet standards, but I do know that much as a 6. Ah. Watch Skibidi Toilet. I still have not watched Skibidi Toilet. Is it something I need to concern myself with or not? Klaus put me at ease just a little. Should we put a record on? It's too late for that. I'm not in the mood for music anyway. Old Hanging Scroll. I've Seen it too often to feel anything from it now. Wow. Jesus Christ. What must she think about her husband? Fax machine. I rarely find use for it. I don't know anybody else who owns one. Waiting for Richter to contact me, but he hasn't. I guess I'm supposed to keep reading or maybe thinking or something? Like the clock? Ticking seems so loud. It just goes to show how quiet it is. Husband used to complain it was too dark, but I rather like the gloom. You look the type. I need to distract myself somehow. I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. She doesn't want to raw dog the situation. She can't raw dog waiting for Richter to contact her. I can't believe it. This woman needing constant stimulation for her mind. She can't even sit there and just wait like a normal person. Maybe reading the newspaper will take my mind off things. Fucking hell. Okay, let's look at the television articles. I don't really watch much television. Feels as if all the information in the world gets passed through that little black box. Filtered and manufactured too. But father stopped them from reporting on the kidnapping back when it happened. I was glad about that, less fuss. The education articles. Everyone attends high school now, even girls. Even girls, can you believe it? Universal education policy, they call it. The country's gotten rich enough that every child can go to school. That's... No. Wait. You got it the other way around. The country is getting richer because every child is going to school. Because by getting every child to go through school and getting to the women into the workforce, they can tax the women too. That's what they are doing. Education is the backbone of modern society. If you want to work for a good company, you have to get into a good university. With more people in the running than ever, the competition to get into those universities has gotten fierce though. The new generation is rebelling. Schoolyard violence and delinquency are on the rise. But my boy was too sensible to get mixed up in any of that. And look where that got him. I don't want to read anymore. It'll only remind me of him. Okay, so apparently you can finish these. Okay, look at the society articles, because we do live in one. Looks like the city's biggest problem right now is pollution. Remember how the air and water used to be even more polluted? The river was covered in scum from all the sewage and industrial waste, and it stank so badly it would make my eyes water. Really? It was worse before? Eventually people started getting sick and it couldn't be ignored anymore. Fortunately, it's gotten better since then. Although the air around the industrial district is still filthy with gas and smog. I never really had to deal with this problem, I don't think. I don't feel your life experience will be greatly improved, but this is, as someone who has only seen a very brief screenshot, you don't get to make a judgment then, Arcane, if you haven't seen it yourself. Is your Giat duly rizzed? I only recently learned about the term rizzed and rizzing and stuff. And then I learned that apparently it comes from charisma, which makes me think, are the people using this term retarded? Are they not able to just use the word charisma? But then I immediately go and think, yes, the people using this term are retarded. Obviously they are, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. Does he know what Giat means? No. What does it mean? Can you tell me? Jesus Christ. If there's one thing in Honjo never wants for, it's horrific crimes. They found a police officer dead in a local park just the other day. A lot of my family are in the police. I hope it wasn't anybody I knew. I don't read the news anymore. Not since last year. It brings back bad memories. I think that's one of the best things you can do in life, to just not follow the news anymore. Because again, it's all manufactured and fake anyway. Suicide at local high school? Oh, I remember that. A high school girl jumped off a roof about a week ago. Oh my god, what if she reads the name now? She was bullied, I think. Or maybe it was something about accent pressure? What? But... no, this can't be right. She's reading the name. Her name? Michio Shiraishi from Kumagata High School? It can't be. Giat means, quite literally, a nice ass or massive ass. Something like that. Who comes up with this? Who was the first person to coin the term Giat? It's like nice ass or something. What the fuck? How do you? What? Reese is only used ironically, and no one I've met, not even children, uses it seriously. I have not met anyone who uses it, neither ironically nor seriously, and I hope it remains this way. Obviously, there's like the language thing, because like English memes don't translate well to Germany and German, but I don't know. You know, at times I just don't understand these zoomers. It can't be. Why can you think now? Michio Shiraishi, the same girl who witnessed my son's kidnapping, committed suicide last week? But that means Mr. Junichi was terrified of someone who already died? Is that what he meant by a curse? I can't work this out on my own. Maybe Richter will know. Why won't he call? Oh, I haven't left it off the hook, have I? Check it. Waiting for Richter to contact me, but he hasn't. Made sure the receiver's on the hook. It'll ring as soon as he calls. Oh my god, that's scary. Eh? Must be him. Oh, I can take a look at the guest here. Let me do that real quick. Come to think of it, I never offered him NAT. Not that I ever learned how to make it. Wow. Isn't that something you need to learn as like a woman in Japan? I don't know. Can I think? Ringing, I better pick up quickly. Oh yeah, of course, the phone, I forgot. Sorry. Answer. Hello? Shigima residence? Ruishigima, 2 a.m. Komagata Bridge. You clearly don't have a younger brother who's younger than 12. No. No, actually 12 is almost 1/3 of my age. Richter called me out to meet him, and we came here to Komagata Bridge. It's not quite 1/3 of my age, but yeah. I refuse to believe there are groups of people who use Alpha Gen vocabulary unironically. It is all shock hype for TikTok views. You think so? The brain rot is fucking real. Like, it is, like... I don't know if it happened with us as well, and we just don't remember anymore. If there were, like, slang terms for youths that we used that we just don't remember, or maybe they got normalized more quick or something. It just... I remember, like, when I was young, I certainly do remember my mother tell me to talk more properly without using some of these slang abbreviations and some of the filler words that I was using. In Germany, we have this thing where, like, young people, they say Alter, which pretty much means like old guy something. So you just go, it's cool, Alter, or something, which means like, hey, that's cool, old guy, or something. It's like it's something to address someone, but you can also just put it at the beginning or the ending of a sentence, and it makes just about as much sense as before. But it's something that is like it's like gangster term, like gangster children, gangster teenagers. They use it, so to speak. Like if you want to be cool, if you want to be part of the cool kids, you talk like that. And I don't know if I maybe used that terminology or something. I can't remember, but I do remember my mother telling me that I should start speaking proper German again, which is ironic coming from her, considering she was like an immigrant, right? I think I lost it. I lost this youth speak at some point. At some point it just, for lack of a better term, because that's a very modernized one as well, at some point it becomes very cringy to talk like that. I think if you're past a certain age and you still talk like this, it is cringe-worthy. But I don't think that's the case anymore, because you keep seeing these, let's call them older people, 20 plus, using this newfound terminology of like this Gen Alpha brain rot stuff. And I think as long as this goes on, as long as we don't have a better example going forward for these young people, they will keep using these terms and they will keep getting more retarded by the second. due to the overstimulation and like exposure to this stuff. So I dread for the future, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. This entire stream is going to be grounds for Lambda to get banned. I don't know, I just hate young people, okay? I'm not gonna make a joke about the predators again. Fucking hell. Rita called me out to meet him, and we came here to Komagata Bridge. Rita, there's something I need to tell you. Funny, I was just thinking the same thing. Let's take a look at the river. The Sumida River. The water is filthy and horrid, but at night, when it's still, it looks almost peaceful. Can I ask you something, ma'am? Is the Sumida River what you Honjo folks picture when you think of home? I couldn't say. All I can tell you is that I can hardly stand the sight of it. Oh yeah, his son was fished out of it, right? It's a very insensitive question for him to ask. Right, should have guessed. Hee. This was where they found him after he went missing. All alone, floating in that horrible water. All I can think is how scared he must have been, how cold he must have been. Maybe he was already dead. Were they able to determine his cause of death? What did he ever do to deserve something so awful? No child deserves that. No, no one, most likely. Except for if they've killed children, then they deserve to drown. I don't know if I'm controversial with this opinion or not. I've come here every day since then. And I prayed to the river to give him back. To give me back my son. Day after day after day. Mental. You know, in olden times, people believed rivers marked where a world met the next. I'm dying now. So the act of crossing flowing water had a huge amount of spiritual significance. Back when Edo was founded, the people of Chu saw the Sumida River the same way. They associated the far side of the river with the afterlife, that same place would later become Honjo. All their fear and revulsion accumulated there and took root. Ooh, we got a map. Grids. I don't know, is this soulless? I think it's soulless. Well, the green stuff is pretty good. I like the green stuff. There should be more green stuff here, though. But then the Ryogoku Bridge sprang up after the Great Fire of Beiriki. Just like that, Honjo was part of the city too. And as it turned from farmland into a town, the people surrounded it with man-made rivers and crisscrossed it with canals and waterways. That's a lot of canals, actually. Weren't those to prevent flooding? What I was told. They were, but that's not all they were for. Yeah, the purpose was to contain all the corruption that had built up on the far shore, and stop it leaking through to our side of the Great Divide. What the fuck is he talking about now? Officially, they were a physical barrier, but unofficially, they were a spiritual one too. So if I have this right, are you saying that Honjo is a place where the real world meets the afterlife? Exactly. That's why the rite of resurrection is here rather than anywhere else, I'm sure of it. And it's probably why the 7 mysteries and their curses have survived to the modern day. And I guess I would make the spot we're standing now, right over the water, the border between life and death. There was a place where bringing back the dead might be possible. I reckon it's here. Funny that you mentioned praying to the river. That might have done more than you think. Is it supposed to make me feel better? Just thinking aloud, ma'am. No thoughts, head empty. Well, it's a nice thought. Sumida River. I'm not gonna read all of this, who the fuck cares? Sorry. Okay. Take a look at our surroundings. We're in Komagata Bridge over the Sumida River. The highway on one side and the freeway on the other, but they're both deserted this late at night. Isn't this where we met the dude with the voices and the girl? Close to the Komagata Bridge? He's gazing down at the water. What does he see down there, I wonder? Clearly there's more to him than meets the eye, right? Look at this. Found a bird. Oh my god, this has to be the fucking... I'm conflicted right now. What the fuck is going on with this? What is this one called? What's number 18? The Pink Punisher. Hey, fucking what the... Oh. You go first. I'll go first. You go first. Because I know my information already, so I need to know his. Please go ahead.
Alright then. I've been poking around places connected to the Severn mysteries looking for the curse bearers. I think I found a few candidates.
Gonna tell me about it?
Okay. First, a tall man I ran into in Kishibori Park. Asked him for directions, trying to probe him a little bit. He turned the questions right back around on me. And he was out there the second he figured I wasn't what he was looking for. I got the sense his curse were nothing new to him. I'm about 40% sure he's a curse bearer.
That's that estimation.
Then this middle-aged guy I saw on South Barigasui Street.
He looks like the teacher from earlier.
There's no question about this one. He had one of the cursed stones in his hand. He had a nervous air about him too. It was clear he was up to some shady business.
This is the guy with the darkness
ability. Gathering soul tracks, I'd bet. He'd make a good target. Next up is a pair, a young man and a woman I saw around Ryogoku Bridge.
Oh, it's the other bridge then.
This time the man came up to me and asked me flat out if I was a curse bearer. I told him I didn't know what he was talking about, and he backpedaled and laughed. Hee. Looks like they lurk around there, looking for kindred spirits would be my guess. Though it didn't seem like they were white working as a pair.
Maybe she's blackmailing him or something. Maybe both of them are curse bearers.
Gathering soul tracks in a group would be a decent idea if we could make it work. But with things being how they are, it's got to be hard to find folks one can trust. I've got brass though. I don't know what their deal is, but I'd like to find out. Last is two detectives I've seen sniffing around.
The police are involved?
Not necessarily. A body turned up in a local park a few days ago, so they might just be looking into that. Still, the park's got ties to one of the 7 mysteries. Might be it. It was a curse that did the guy in. And if they're sending in detectives from the head office, then something's got to be up.
Do you know where they're from?
Let's just say that when you're in this business, there are some faces you get to know.
Obviously, he knows the young guy because he went to school with him, right?
Anyway, that's everyone who caught my eye.
You found all of them in so little time? I really did hire the best.
It's all in the name, ma'am. Richter Kai. P-I. Or should I say I-P? In your mouth? No, wait. Make that Richter Kai. Investigator extraordinaire. Hee.
My, an investigator extraordinaire. Is that why you can dress like that without drawing attention to yourself?
You bet. An investigator extraordinaire can blend in like a chameleon in any outfit.
Well, that aside, the middle-aged man and the young couple sound the most promising, am I right?
Whichever we pick, it's still too early to make a move. Seems like the curse bearers are less involved with each other than we thought.
They're all just hanging around their own places.
Plus, there's still others we don't know about. I say we hang fire and see how things play out. Once more bodies start showing up, that'll get the pot nice and hot. That's a weird thing to say. And once it's boiling, our chance will come.
It's just waiting for people to die. Isn't that kind of fucked up by itself? Something I need to tell you.
What's up?
Well, that girl, Michio Shiraishi.
The one who was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping?
That's her. Well, she's dead.
She's what now?
The student who committed suicide last week. It was her.
But something like that had happened. Never got the name though. Talk about bad luck. Hee. Finally get a lead only to find it's turned into a literal dead end. Unless the death was the whole reason Shunichi was so shaken up. Said she was going to curse him. Was he talking about her taking revenge from beyond the grave?
Seems like we're back where we started.
Not necessarily. Teacher knows something, I'm sure of it.
It looks very intense, wow.
At the very least, I'd put my money on him having something to do with Miss Shirishi's death. That's why he's so scared of being cursed by her.
See.
Also, something tells me he knows more about your son's kidnapping. In any case, I think I've got a good idea of what he's hiding. Call it a hunch.
A hunch?
Well, more of a theory. A game theory. Care to take a guess?
Yeah, I can guess. I guess she was blackmailing him because he helped her or something. Can't say for certain, but Mr. Junichi silenced Michio Shiraishi. Mr. Junichi silenced Mr. Junichi.
No, wait. Can we go back? Michio Shiraishi silenced him with blackmail. Is that right?
What if Michio Shiraishi silenced Mr. Junichi with blackmail?
What do you think?
Interesting. That's what he claimed was going on, but I wonder about that. Might be a little bit far-fetched.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I disappointed you. I guess this was too obvious. I don't really cut out to play detective.
Well, no point dwelling on speculation. The truth will be out in time.
What the fuck? It's just gonna what? It's just gonna gloss over this? It's not gonna reveal it? I done goofed and that's it. I fucking love this game. I love the lack of hand-holding.
Right now, I think we need to have another chat with Mr. Junichi.
What do I think? Woman? Standing around is the last thing I want to be doing right now. My only chance to bring back my son. I can't afford to fritter it away.
Then you want to tell me something?
I've already said everything I wanted to say. Yeah, of course. The thing that she's dead. Did you forget about this? What am I supposed to be doing that? Huh? Maybe I need to keep thinking? What do we do? Oh, Sumida River. Oh, that's right. There's one more memory I have of this river. I love when actions have consequences. It's like real life, but I hate it. You mind if I tell you?
Go ahead.
It's been about 20 years now when I was still a schoolgirl. Back then the oh my god, how old is she? Back then the Sumida River was much filthier than it is now. Full of garbage and industrial discharge. It was scummy and slimy and it stank. Is she talking about the river still, or? You could look out over the water and see dead cats and dogs in pitchers just floating. What the fuck? Maybe back then, not everything was better. And one day, among all the filth and garbage, there was a piece of my missing classmate's hand. What do you mean, a piece of the hand? Like a finger? Why don't you just say a finger? What? It was almost a miracle when you stop to think about it. What were the chances that someone would find a part of it that was still recognizable? And although everything but the palm had rotted away in the water, the part that was left would have an identifiable scar? Free food. Jesus Christ, iced hot tea. And they could tell it'd been a murder from the blade marks on the bone?
Wait, are you talking about the Neshima murders?
So you have heard of it. I'm impressed. I assume you were but in elementary school at the time?
I wasn't really aware of it then. I only heard about it after the fact. I had no idea the victim was a classmate of yours.
Okay, let's read up on that shit, because that seems freaky. The Neshima murders, a notorious case from over 2 decades ago involving the murder of a female high school student. Most likely it has something to do with this, right? It first came to the attention of the authorities when part of a human left hand was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Okay, again, uneducated guess. The detective wants to resurrect this girl. Just saying. Testing revealed it to belong to a missing female high school student. As it appeared to have been severed deliberately, the police launched a murder investigation. A large-scale search of the river was organized, but the highly polluted state of the water made this impossible. Visibility was poor, the stench was intense, and the divers quickly fell ill. They succeeded in recovering only the victim's head and what appeared to be part of her leg before the search was called off. This is fucked up. At the time of the incident, the Sumida River was as polluted as it had ever been. Neither fish nor shellfish could survive in it, eventually causing the annual fireworks festival to be called off indefinitely. How does it get to this point? Over the course of the search, the police discovered a number of unidentified human bones. This caused a stir among the public, as several other young women had gone missing in recent years in the Tokyo area, and it was feared that they may have fallen victim to the same fate. Forensic technologies at the time, however, were not advanced enough to determine the identities of the deceased, and so the police were unable to open any inquiries. Due to the overwhelming lack of circumstantial evidence, the investigation ground to a halt until a hitherto unrelated individual came to its attention. During a questioning about the separate incident, Fumichika Nejima, a 36-year-old shop owner with no relation to the victim, divulged details about her that had never been released to the general public. An investigation into his background was conducted, leading to his arrest. Nishima testified that he had snatched his victim from the street and confined her in the underground storeroom of his shop, which also served as his living quarters. He chose her for no special reason, but simply decided she was an opportune target on seeing her walking alone at night. After keeping her locked up for several days, he restrained her, sewed her mouth shut, and severed her fingers and toes with a box cutter while she was still conscious. Yeah, okay. Clearly a sane person. As she screamed silently behind her sealed lips, he proceeded to her wrists, her ankles, her elbows, her knees, working his way inward slowly and methodically. His victim constantly wavered in and out of consciousness. Her ordeal continued until she died of blood loss. Nishima dismembered the rest of her body and disposed of it behind his home in the Sumida River before cleaning his storeroom, returning to his everyday routine as if nothing had happened. The brutality of his actions shocked the nation when they were eventually reported. Once apprehended, Nishima readily divulged details of the murder, but was less willing to explain his motive. When asked, he would only break down in tears saying, "I don't know what came over me, I know it was wrong." In the end, the police could extract nothing more from him than expressions of remorse. Although the efficiency of his methods strongly suggested that he had committed similar crimes in the past, no corroborating evidence ever came to light. Nishima was sentenced to life in prison at his first hearing. The sentence was imposed with no appeal from the defendant. Fucked up, if you ask me. Oh my god, we even get a fucking visual for this guy, which means that he is most likely playing a role in this. The man who made the headlines over 2 decades ago is the perpetrator of the brutal killings known as the Nishima murders. To be honest, it was all a bit of a blur. A wave of chaos just parting around me. Something like that. They said the rest of her body must have sunk to the bottom of the river. Prime Redditor. Prime Redditor? Or surely you mean Prime Predator? They combed the riverbed, but they only ever found pieces. Typical Redditor profile. Oh, you two. I love you both. Everything else must have rotted and flowered onto the sea. Afterwards, I heard that all the divers who had been looking for her fell ill. His neck could lift a 5-kilogram weight. If your neck can't lift a 5-kilogram weight, then you're like a stick figure. I'm afraid. 5 kilograms are not a lot. A sorry story for everyone involved, huh? Funny, everyone figures the rivers... Oh wait, shit, Richter's talking. I done goofed there.
A sorry story for everyone involved, huh? It's funny, everyone figures the river's filthy already, so one more piece of garbage won't hurt. But every little bit makes it worse. It's a vicious cycle. I know I wouldn't want to go rooting around there myself.
That's right, which is why the riverbed is the last place anybody would go looking. Or so was the killer's thinking, I suppose. The times were changing quickly back then, things were confusing, everyone seemed to be in a hurry. It's even worse today. Young people were moving to Tokyo in droves, some even ran away from home to make it in a big city. They made easy targets for bad people. A lot of them ended up disappearing without a trace. You see, back then, you chopped the body up into tiny pieces and threw it in the river. It would rot quickly and discreetly and sink to the bottom, never to be seen again.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
They arrested him shortly after, Fumishika Nishima, the man who killed my classmate and cut her into pieces. He was so methodical about it, it couldn't have been his first crime. And people began to wonder how many other girls he'd murdered the same way. The police never found any evidence of other murders in the end. But the river knows the truth. How many corpses has it swallowed up over the years, I wonder? That same thought spread through everyone's mind and they started to avoid this area. So really, this river has been rank with corruption for decades now. Or at least, that's how it seems to me. Oh my god, there's an achievement for playing this game at midnight? What is that's a weird kind of achievement. Well, is that interesting?
Well, I can see why I don't have any good memories of this river. With all that darkness lurking beneath the surface, there's no reason that you would. Still, if I may, ma'am, I'm surprised you know so much about the Nishima murders.
Well, her classmate was killed, so... But how could I not? After all, I was the one... Who was killed? Who found the hand? Yeah. You mentioned that earlier. That's not like a creepy gotcha moment. Didn't she say earlier that she found the hand floating? Or was I misreading things? Like, why is he so shocked about this? The Police actually wrote me a thank you letter. That's kind of fucked up, though. Thank you for finding the hand of a dead classmate? Wait, was she only thinking it to herself earlier? But then they shouldn't play it up like that. They said it was only thanks to me that they managed to bring Nishima to justice. That was the only time my father ever said he was proud of me. Because she randomly found a corpse's hand?
Huh, I guess it just wasn't the killer's day.
Sometimes I wonder if he resents me for it. Something wrong?
Not really, it just struck me it's been 20 years since the Nishima murders.
So it has.
Not to spook you or anything, but I thought you might be interested in knowing. Life in prison doesn't always mean life. There's precedent for first-time offenders being allowed out on parole after 20 years. Only if they're found to show remorse and a desire to reform themselves, of course.
That's right, I'm impressed you know so much. He's a fucking detective who was formerly a police officer. Obviously he knows. Still, it's hard for someone with a criminal record to reintegrate into society.
I hear they've been trying to fix that recently, matching inmates with jobs and accommodation.
Oh, really?
They keep an eye on them, of course, and make them report in for regular checkups.
That's how it should be.
But to avoid discrimination, they keep the inmates' records a secret from everyone but their employees. They even give particularly notorious criminals new identities so they won't be recognized in the workplace.
Oh my god, do you think he's fucking Nishima? Where the fuck is he? It's persons. Person of interest. He looks a little bit like him. No, it's not. It's not. My. The way you put it. It's like you're saying Fumishika Nishima could be out on parole right now. Back in society under a new name with nobody any the wiser.
It's possible. As it happens, a little birdie told me about Big Name making parole a few months back. I don't know if that was Nishima, but our discussion just now did bring it to mind.
Did the craziest cut. I see. How unsettling. Now that you mention it, just remembered something too.
What was it?
I was passing Komagata High School a little while ago when I saw someone. A janitor, I think. Oh my god, do you think he does it for free? They could have sworn he reminded me of Fumishika Nishima.
Oh.
He looked a little different after 20 years. Much thinner than I remember, too. I told myself I was just seeing things. But perhaps it was him after all. Okay, when is the scene coming to an end? So, what's next?
The big question now is what the rest of the Cursed Bear is up to. Luckily, the Sumida River is good distance from any of the 7 mysteries. It's unlikely the other Cursed Bearers will come all the way here. I can finally have a moment to think.
I see. Alright. Suspend. Guess this is where we have to end. We cannot currently progress any further. Once the situation has changed, select resume to try again. Pressing suspend will return you to the story chart. Interesting. It's not a dead end, but it's like a for now you can't continue end. Which is perfect, really. I love that. It gives me an opportunity to save. A very good one as well. And for us to end for today. YouTube, that was PARANORMASIGHT, and I'm still utterly in love with this game. Bye, YouTube.